NASCAR unveiled the next-gen car that is slated to hit the track, starting with the Daytona 500 next season. Chase Elliott rolled out the Chevy Camaro. Joey behind the wheel of the Ford Mustang, as he just said. And Denny Hamlin was the man for the new Toyota TRD Camry. A history-making day for NASCAR, and one that was a true team effort.
We really wanted to get back to a promise that we had made to the fans, which is to put the stock back in stock car.
We have a symmetric body. We have a composite body, so Rubbin's racing, so there'd be less of a chance. I'm not saying that there won't be any chance. Our drivers can find ways to hit the wall. But I think that you'll see that when they do that now, there will be less consequence. The body will be more resilient. These cars can be run on every type of track that we go to. So you don't need, specialized race cars to go to, a super speedway or a road course.
NASCAR is all about, beating and banging on the racetrack. Less chance for that cut tire that you see under our current design. So we're really looking forward to our drivers going out there and showcasing their abilities. They're the best in the world at doing what they do. So we believe that the car that our engineering team and the entire industry has put together is going to enable us to do that.
It was an exciting day. The cars look absolutely fantastic. Your takeaways from a fun afternoon at the R&D Center?
There was a lot of fun things there, but we talked about it a little bit earlier about the looks of it. We've talked for years about all these next gens that come on. Oh, it looks so much like what's on the racetrack, on the street that's finally on the racetrack. Now, this time it's real, right? We said that over and over and over again, but this time it looks to me like, you look at that Mustang, it looks like you put a white body kit and slammed it on the ground, and it came right off the street. That's what these cars look like. The Camaro looks great as well. The Camry looks cool, but that's the part that's probably got me the most excited. Obviously, there's a lot of other gains. We talked about the composite body. There's a lot of great things there. The big wheels, a smaller, lower profile tire, a lot of really nice styling things, but also a lot of great things underneath the car that is going to improve the racing.
Yeah, and I'm talking about that, Joey, I look at everything underneath the car is different. So a lot of different, the teams are going to have a lot of different challenges within them. And also, I think I heard you talk about, where it's going to, you get to the racetrack, it's going to be a challenge. Everybody's going to have something new to work with next year. So it's going to be exciting to see all these teams try to figure out how to make these things go fast, race well, and oh, by the way, kind of rub a little bit along the way because it's so different than what we've seen in the past.
I heard him say today during the announcement, one of the folks from NASCAR said 1,100 hours invested in this project. The word we heard a lot, collaboration.
Yeah, well, it is. And that's the neat thing that NASCAR has done a very good job at the last few years is when they come with rules changes or developing the next-gen car, they are collaborating with the race teams. It used to just be NASCAR telling everybody what to do. And don't get me wrong, it still is, and it probably should be. But when it comes to designing a car, there's so many smart people that work within these race teams, the engineers, just the racers in general that have been doing it for so long. Why not get everyone's input into this car and say, okay, this might work, and start testing it and putting together a car that races great, right? That's one of the biggest priorities, to have to improve on the racing that's already there. That's pretty good at this point. But you got to make the car safer as well, maybe more durable, more reliable, all those things you go in. You have a clean slate. How often do you get to do that? You have a clean slate. They say, build whatever I want, and we'll build the rules around that. That's pretty cool.
You were a part of the testing process like 18 months ago when the whole process got underway. But, Bobby, you were there from day one doing simulation for this car.
Yeah, actually, Eric Warren and they called me and they wanted me to go run the sim at Dallara in Indianapolis. So I went and did that, and I had done some work for Dallara before. So before Austin ever got on the racetrack, they said, hey, we want to go run the sim. So spend a couple days to go up there and just kind of get a feel for it and make sure it goes around the racetrack without doing something weird. So, I feel like I had a little bit of something to do with it early on. It was just in a sim, but it was great to have that opportunity to say that I did that.
You know who has lots of thoughts about the next-gen car? America's crew chief, Larry McReynolds. He was there for the announcement today, and he joins us now on NASCAR Race Hub. Larry, great to have you on the show. What was your highlight reel from today?
Well, what made this come together was co-opetition between everybody. Now, that's a DW word, but to see these cars finally for the first time, the Ford Mustang, the Chevrolet Camaro, and the Toyota Camry. But we're going to take a look at some of the differences between the car we race now and the next-gen car. It's going to start with that aluminum wheel. wheel, a center wheel lock, a single lug nut, no more steel wheels, no more 5 lug nuts, and this will actually have a wider tire, and Goodyear will build a little bit of softer compound, more grip. Then we're going to go to the hood louvers. They're for cooling, and all 3 makes have a little bit different look, but the air goes in the radiator inlet, through the radiator, and out those louvers, and that's going to lower the under hood temperature. All of them are a little bit different on each car. Now let's go to the rear diffuser under the back of the car. It creates more downforce without paying a drag penalty, but the biggest thing it's going to do is clean up the wake just a little bit behind the lead car and help the car behind it not be in such dirty air. The sequential shifter, no more H pattern. It is a 5-speed gearbox that's connected to a transaxle, the old 4-speed transmission. She is completely gone. And then the rear overhang behind the rear tire, it's reduced by about 10 to 12 inches, and that creates a little bit of a shorter deck lid. This has more of the production car look, and that's just some of the treetop differences.
Just the treetops. Oh, my gosh, there was so much information there, Larry. The one thing you didn't touch on, and I'm curious about, is the engine. We know the engine doesn't change in this car, but what about the horsepower rate?
Yeah, the engine will absolutely be the same for the first 2 years, and I think we're still going to have different packages. For instance, at Darlington, where we're going to horsepower, tapered spacer, that's probably going to stay the same. But when you run the high downforce with the 550 like we ran at Kansas, this car has more aero drag, so they're probably going to have to put a little bigger tapered spacer to get the speed back in sync with this year.
You went through the new single lug nut that will be in play on the wheels on these cars for next year. What does that do to the competition in regard to pit stops, Larry?
Well, everybody's anxious to see that. I still have not witnessed a pit stop. I've talked to Jeff Gordon. He has watched some pit stops over at Hendrick Motorsports, and he said, honestly, Larry, with that jack man still running around the car, a tire carrier still carrying the tires, yeah, maybe the pit stop is a little quicker, but you really don't even know the difference. But I don't think we'll have as many loose wheels in 2022.
Probably not. Thanks, Larry. We'll come back to you in a moment. Of course, you'll be a part of our iRacing coverage later on tonight right here on FS1. And
for more great NASCAR on Fox content, subscribe to our channel. It's somewhere right around here.